Hello everyone, Dao here. Today, I'm going to give 10 pro tips for Genshin players to help everyone play the game in a more optimized way, especially for the ones who just recently joined the game. I will try to cover as many aspects of the game as I can, like summoning, exploration, and character building. So you are also welcome even if you have been playing the game for a while. You may still find something new and helpful to your game. Now let's get started. Tip number 1. Never use Primogems on the standard banner. We all know that Primogem is the in-game currency for players to purchase wishes. So this is a really rare resource and we can only get a limited amount in the game during each patch. Currently, Genshin has two types of banners, the event banner and the standard banner. The event banner changes every patch with the characters and weapons that are only available within a limited time window, while the standard banner contains a fixed set of characters and weapons that are available all the time. For every event banner, there's a pity system to guarantee you hit the exact character or the weapon on the banner after you hit certain pulls. However, in the standard banner, you can never choose which character or weapon to hit as it's all random. So it's entirely unpredictable what you can get. Last but not least, you can also get those standard characters and the weapons in the event banner as well when you lose your 50/50s. So always save up your primos for the pink wishes when your favorite characters drop. And there is no reason to exchange the blue wishes with your Primogems. But this does not mean that you can never pull for the standard banner. There are also many ways to get the blue wishes directly in the game. Feel free to use the blue wishes when you get them, but just don't use your Primogems to buy them. Tip number 2. Explore the world first. Level up your statues and unlock your maps. I know Genshin combat could be extra exciting for many people, but don't try to rush it too hard. I've seen players who wanted to beat the Spiral Abyss so badly that they started grinding for their teams even without max leveling the statues in their worlds. Explore your world first to find all the Akuli and unlock the waypoints and the chests. Leveling up the statues will give you a higher stamina cap, which is extremely important in both overworld exploration and abyss combat. Unlocking the chest will give you infinite resources to help you build your characters and teams. Also remember to leave a pin after you get a chest or an Oculus, which would make it a lot easier for you to find the missing ones later. And don't forget, Genshin is a beautiful open world game. The in-game views are epic and the lores are convoluted and brilliant. Enjoy the legendary Archon quests and the story quests when you still have them, because Genshin is known for liking late game content. Once you hit the late game, you will have infinite time to build your teams as there's basically nothing else to do. Tip number 3. Save your Fragile Resins for the late game. Fragile Resins are a great source of resin replenishment, but they are very rare. You might have stacked quite a few of them since you started playing the game. But as your game progresses further and further, you have fewer opportunities to get them except for BPs and the weekly bundles. But those require swiping. What we need to note here is that the amount of resins that Fragile Resin can restore is always 60, regardless of when or where you're at in the game. So are the costs of domain and boss runs. The cost of each domain run or boss run is always the same across all ARs. However, the rewards and the materials dropped from the domains and bosses differ vastly between low ARs and high ARs. So if you use your Fragile Resins early, you're using a great amount of rare resources to get low quality drops. While if you use them when your AR goes higher, with the same amount of Fragile Resins, you're able to exchange way more advanced and rare materials and items. So keep the Fragile Resins till the late game, and use them wisely on what you actually need. Otherwise, just keep them for the future. Tip number 4. Do not farm artifacts before AR 45. Well, to be more accurate and moderate, I should say do not commit many resins to artifact farming before AR 45. Artifact farming is fun and exciting as artifact drops and rolls heavily rely on RNG. And who doesn't like more gacha in a gacha game? But also because of this, the probability of getting high quality artifacts in Genshin is absurdly low. As you can see from my inventory, I've been farming artifacts almost every day with full resin replenished after I reach the late game. And I can tell you 90% of the artifacts that we're getting are completely useless other than being fodders. Prior to AR 45, you cannot get any 5-star artifacts from artifact domain runs. And 4-star artifacts are also not going to be used at all in the late game. So all the resins you spend at this point will be in vain when your game and AR proceed further. So I would recommend using whatever you have that the game gives you before AR 45. Or if you really want a decent artifact set for your characters, just use a slight amount of resins to get a useful set for the early game and then wait till AR 45. Tip number 5. Focus on building a few characters only. Do not build the characters that you don't play. Resources in Genshin are quite limited, especially in the early stages of the game, and it's usually very expensive to build a character in terms of the cost of heroes' wits, morale, and resins. So it's really necessary to allocate your resources wisely at the right spots. When you start to build your account, it's always recommended to focus on 1 or 2 teams first, and stack all your materials on them and make them extra strong to carry your account. Leave the characters that you don't play level 1 and do not waste your resources on them. Having 1 or 2 very strong teams is way better than having 20 characters built but in a mediocre way. This is like Pokemon. One level 100 Pokemon can sweep a whole team of level 60 members, right? The strength of your account depends on your strongest characters and teams, not how many characters you build. But of course, after you have a few characters well built already, feel free to go for others to increase your team diversity. I hope you learned something new from this video, and feel free to subscribe to my channels for the latest Genshin updates. See you in part 2. Bye!